a template of a press release looks like. Now let's look at some examples of press releases. So the first one here is a press release announcing a settlement of a antitrust lawsuit. And remember I mentioned that at the top you have the name and the logo. So that's what you have right here at the top, Lieff Cabraser, Heimann and Bernstein name and logo. Let's see, when do they want it released? So there's no information here about immediate release. In fairness, I took this from their blog, but it's in press release format. It has a date. It has the long title here. And here is here's the catchy title in red, and here's the longer title or subtitle. You have a high-level summary at the beginning, announces the parties, says how much is being given in the settlement, how big the class is, and then gives a little bit more information about the background of the lawsuit, and then a little bit more information, and then wait for it, there's going to be quotes. There we go. There's a quote from one side, and then there's a quote from another side. So you got two different people giving quotes, and then there's more detail, and then there's a reference to the lawsuit, so that way if you want to get information there, and then remember I mentioned about at the end you want information about the party or contact information. There you go. So now if I'm a reporter or I'm interested in this, I have somebody to contact. So that's example one. Now let's look at example two. Here's a press release issued by MGM Resorts. This one doesn't have a logo at the top, but we'll set that aside. We have the date of October 3rd. You have the location, Las Vegas. PR Newswire, if you recall, that's one of the organizations I mentioned, issues press releases. First sentence identifies the key parties, says that there's a settlement that's been reached. So you get the key terminology there. And then you always want to have the money in there because that draws reporters' attention. So you have the 735 million to 800 million in there. Bam, they get into it with the quotes. So you have a chairman or CEO, and you have two quotes from this person. And then look at the next paragraph. You have a quote from the lead plaintiff's counsel. So you have the defendant, and then you have the plaintiff. So both sides are being represented. Chances are this was a negotiated settlement agreement or press release by the parties, and they said, okay, what are we going to say in there? Let's come up with the terminology. Make sure you have a quote, I have a quote. And then there's more detail, but not a ton of detail in this one. If you look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. So this press release is not rich in information. It's really just meant to get some buzz around this. It's also interesting that in the title itself, it doesn't mention the money aspect. You could imagine it could say MGM Resorts and Plaintiffs' Counsel. Also interesting that Plaintiffs' Counsel aren't named in any way up here. Reach agreement to settle for nearly $1 billion. That would get a lot more attention. So this was possibly a give by the company to the plaintiff's counsel of what would be in the press release. I'm just speculating. I have no outside knowledge. All right, so, and then afterwards, there's the about section. MGM is appearing first, and then you have the plaintiff's counsel's information, Eagle Adams, Robinson, and then Panish and Shea. So you have 3 different law firms there. You have contact information for each because they want to get contacted. They meaning the plaintiff's counsel, would like to get work arising from this press release. Okay, so that's two. And then let's look at one in a governmental context. So this one is by the United States Department of Justice. So again, we got the logo up here at the top of the DOJ. We have the date of when it's being issued. We have for immediate release, so that means don't hold it. Get it out there now. You have the title, 27 skilled nursing facilities controlled by Longwood Corporation to pay $16.7 million to resolve False Claims Act allegations. You know the parties, you know the amount, you know the basis of the claims. So that alone it's full of information. And then first sentence, a little bit more information. Longwood tells you where it is. It's in California. So this is something where the DOJ isn't acting just in, say, New York or the East Coast. Interesting that they don't mention a city here in the first section. And then we get into the quotes. Again, it's a promotional piece by the Department of Justice. So it's going to be something that puts them in a good light, and everyone's from the DOJ and the local U.S. attorneys are going to want to get their name associated with this. So you have the acting assistant attorney general for civil getting two quotes in, first at the beginning of the sentence and at this beginning of the paragraph and at the end. Then you have the U.S. attorney getting two quotes in. I'm pretty sure that was negotiated, that if the acting AUSA gets, or it's not AUSA, acting assistant attorney general gets two sentences, two quotes, then the U.S. attorney also gets two quotes. And then there's more detail, and then even more detail, and then even more detail. And it's way down here that you start to see the specific facilities that it covers. And based on that, you get a view that it's covering a lot of Southern California. You have Burbank in the north. You have Sherman Oaks. You have Chino, kind of in the central east. You have Covina, San Gabriel. So it's covering a lot of the central district. Keep going. There's a lot of information here. And one nice thing about legal press releases is if they can cite the cases. So that way if a reporter wants to pull up the docket on Pacer or the equivalent state court e-filing systems are, they can do so. And the DOJ numbers their press release so they can find this easily. This one does not have contact information at the bottom, but there is a line indicating that the press release is over. Let's see, was there information at the top? No, I'm surprised that they don't have to contact somebody, call this number. But I guess in fairness, this is the civil division, so if somebody did want to contact them, there we go. You can see it's a hyperlink to the Justice Department's Civil Division website. So these are three examples of press releases issued that follow the same basic format. And that's what I would like you to follow when you create your own press release to announce a settlement of a dispute in class.